My name is Scott Axton. I am with the Texas DRE program. I've been a DRE instructor for about 17 years, and I've been an SFST instructor for about 25 years. The purpose of these videos is to take you through the standardized instructions for walk and turn and one leg stand. Throughout the state of Texas, we see consistent problems with the proper and precise administration of those tests. So the goal of these videos, instructing the walk and turn, instructing the one leg stand, is meant for students who are going to an AROD class, an SFST refresher, and especially a DRE school or an SFST instructor school. Because when you arrive at those schools on day one, you have a proficiency test. And in those proficiency tests is where we see the most problems. So I'm going to go through the instructions for the tests that are straight out of the curriculum, the way the tests were designed to be given, without any added instructions, without any deleted or modified instructions, but the way the tests were intended to be given, the way the tests were validated 3 times. And my hope is that once you see this video and you understand it, it'll make it easier for you, one, to pass your proficiency, but also encourage you when you go to DRE school or SFST instructor school or AROD to not struggle with that part of the school. Okay, let's start with the walk and turn test. Walk and turn has the most instructions of the 2 tests. So it has obviously the most places where people can make mistakes. Everyone knows that to begin the test, you're going to use a real or imaginary line. A real line is simple. There's the line. But an imaginary line, I'm going to go with that because it does involve a few more instructions. So we're going to have them imagine a straight line on the ground in front of them, and we're going to tell them to place their left foot on that line. Here's the first problem that we often see. When you tell someone to do something in the walk and turn test, you have to demonstrate it right then. So if I tell them to place their left foot on their imaginary line, I have to place my left foot on my line. I'll demonstrate this whole sequence a little bit later where you can see my feet. But right now I just want to go through the instructions of the test and some of the problems we see. The next thing I'm going to tell them is put your right foot in front of your left, touching heel to toe. I have to demonstrate that right then. I don't wait till later and do the whole test at once. You demonstrate as you go. The curriculum says provides instruction and gives demonstration for each part of this test. Then I'm going to tell them to put their arms to their side and remain in that position and not begin walking until told to do so. Then I'm going to ask, do you understand? I don't have to get a yes, but I have to get some kind of affirmative response from them, a head nod, something that lets me know they understand the instructions. That's the instruction stage. Make sure that when you tell them to do something, you demonstrate it right then. Once you're done with the instruction stage, now we're going to go into the walking stage. For the walking stage, people get really wordy with this. All you're telling them to do is walk 9 heel-to-toe steps on the line, turn, and take 9 more heel-to-toe steps down the line. It will look like this. Not it will look something like this. It will look like this. The mistake that students make or that officers make when they do this test is they try to explain the turn while they're still standing in the starting position. I'm still in the starting position because I just put them in that and told them to not move. Do you understand? So all I'm going to tell them now is walk 9 heel-to-toe steps down the line, turn, and take 9 more heel-to-toe steps back down the line. It will look like this. Don't talk about the turn right now. The reason is there's no way you can demonstrate it. You have the wrong foot in front. You cannot talk about the turn until you can demonstrate it, which is at the end of you demonstrating your 3 steps of how they're supposed to walk. Just simply say 9 heel-to-toe steps on the line, turn, and take 9 more heel-to-toe steps back down the line. It will look like this. You always want to group 9 heel-to-toe steps and line together. If you say 9, follow it with heel-to-toe steps, followed by line. You're telling them how many, how you want them to do it, and where they're going to do it. All right? So we've given them the instruction stage. They're standing like that. We've told them walk 9 heel-to-toe steps down the line, turn, and take 9 heel-to-toe steps back down the line. It will look like this. And I'm going to demonstrate with 3 steps. I'm going to back up just a little bit. I'm going to take my 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. Assuming this is your 9th step, you're going to leave your front or lead foot. That's the only 2 words you can use, front or lead. You don't have to say both, but you have to tell them to leave their front or lead foot on the line, not the ground. The ground is anywhere the light touches. I don't want them to go over there and leave their front foot. I want them to leave their front foot right here, right now. Tell them to leave their front or lead foot on the line and take a series of small steps to turn around with the other foot and then return taking 9 heel-to-toe steps on the line and demonstrate those 3 steps. Now, I'm going to demonstrate the entire test start to finish without interruption. But the last 4 things that we tell them are, look down at your feet, count your steps out loud, keep your arms to your sides, and once you've started, do not stop until the test is complete. Do you understand? And that's it. That's all the instructions. Notice one thing I left out that has become mainstream. I took 3 steps, you'll take 9. That is not a standardized instruction. It has never been a standardized instruction, so please stop saying that. If they had wanted that to become a standardized instruction, they would have put it in there. There are already 4 times that we tell them it's 9 heel-to-toe steps on the line. We don't need to tell them a 5th and 6th time. All right, I'm going to back up so that you can see my feet. I'm going to do the test start to finish without any interruption. This is what the test should look like. Okay, you are off to my left. I'm going to have whoever it is I'm testing to my left because I don't want to turn my back when I demonstrate the turn. So they're off to my left. So you're, as the audience, are kind of playing the role of the person I'm testing right now. I'm going to tell them to imagine a straight line here on the ground in front of them and to place their left foot on that line. And then I'm going to tell them to put their right foot in front of their left, touching heel to toe, arms down to the sides, and to remain in that position and not begin walking until told to do so. Do you understand? Get some kind of affirmative response. When I tell you to begin, you're going to walk 9 heel-to-toe steps down the line, turn, and take 9 more heel-to-toe steps on the line. It will look like this. 1, 2, 3, and so on. Assuming this is your 9th step, leave your front foot on the line, take a series of small steps to turn around, and come back with 9 heel-to-toe steps on the line. 1, 2, 3, and so on to 9. While walking, look down at your feet, count your steps out loud, keep your arms to your sides, and once you've started the test, do not stop until the test is complete. Do you understand? And that's it. That's the way the test should look. It's simple. Don't add instructions that were never intended to be there, and don't take away instructions that have to be there. The most important thing is if you tell them to do something, you have to demonstrate it as you go. When you tell them how to do their steps, make sure you say 9 heel-to-toe steps on the line. For the turn, make sure you tell them to leave their front or lead foot on the line. All right, one leg stand. Similar to walk and turn, it has 2 stages. The instruction stage, the balance and counting stage. For the instruction stage, it's super simple. You're going to have them stand with their feet together, arms to the side. And you're going to tell them not to begin until told to do so. Do you understand? That's it. The second most common mistake we see in one leg stand is forgetting that do you understand. So make sure you give them the instruction stage, have them stand with their feet together, arms to the side, and not begin until told to do so. Do you understand? Again, get some kind of affirmative reaction from them. When you tell them to begin, they're going to lift one leg, either leg. It is the one leg stand, not the 1 foot stand. They're going to lift one leg with their foot approximately 6 inches off the ground, parallel to the ground. You must use the word parallel. Their foot is 6 inches off the ground, parallel to the ground. It's not pointed, the toe isn't pointed out, other things that we've heard. Foot parallel to the ground. You're going to tell them to count out loud, 1001, 1002, 1003, and so on until I tell you to stop. While doing this, you're going to go straight down your body. They're going to look at their raised or elevated foot. You cannot say, look down at your foot. They have 2 feet and they are not together. You got to tell them which foot to look at. Tell them to look at their raised or elevated foot. Use one of those 2 words. Look down at your raised foot, keep your arms to your sides, and keep both legs straight. Do you understand? That's it. This test gets convoluted because people try so hard to think of all the instructions, they get them out of order, and then they start just rambling off and repeating the same things over and over again. That is all you have to tell them. You've already told them to count, where they 1001, 1002, 1003, and so on until I tell you to stop. Now you just got to tell them to look at their elevated foot, keep their arms to the sides, and keep both legs straight. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate the test from start to finish, what it should look like. All right, You're going to stand with your feet together, arms down to your sides. You're going to remain in that position and not begin until told to do so. Do you understand? Give affirmative response. When I tell you to begin, you're going to lift one leg, either leg, with your foot approximately 6 inches off the ground. You're going to have your foot parallel to the ground, and you're going to count out loud 1001, 1002, 1003, and so on until I tell you to stop. While doing this, you're going to look down at your raised foot, you're going to keep your arms to your sides, and you're going to keep both legs straight. Do you understand? And that's it. We're going to time them. We're going to have them, when we tell them to begin, when they lift their leg up is when we start our 30-second timer. And they perform the test for 30 seconds. We tell them to stop, and then we count up our clues. Let's talk about the additional tests that you learn in A-RIDE and that you pretty much perfect in DRE school. And that's going to be lack of convergence, modified Romberg balance test, and finger to nose. I'll go through these tests in order, and they're pretty simple, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them, but this is what they should look and sound like. For lack of convergence, the setup is identical to HGN. We're going to have them stand with their feet together, and we're going to use some type of stimulus that's not blending into the background. Like I wouldn't want to use a navy blue stimulus for this. But we're going to hold the stimulus slightly above eye level, 12 to 15 inches from their face, just like we do with HGN. The difference here is we're going to tell them, I'm going to make a couple of small circles around your face, and I'm going to bring my finger in toward the bridge of your nose. I'm not going to touch you, but I want you to follow my finger as it comes in toward the bridge of your nose. Your eyes are going to want to cross. Go ahead and let them cross. Then we're going to tell them, look right here for me, and we're going to make 2 small circles around their face, and then at the 12 o'clock position, we're going to bring our finger in toward the bridge of the nose. I'll do it on myself. You want to come right between their eyes so that their eyes go straight in. Their eyes should not go down. We're looking to see if their eyes can come in and converge toward the middle. Then we're going to hold it about 2 inches from the bridge of their nose, and then once you see how the eyes react, go ahead and pull your finger back and do it a second time. 2 small circles around their face, about the size of a softball or a grapefruit. Once you get back to that 12 o'clock position, bring it in toward the bridge of their nose, look and see how their eyes react, and then pull it back out. Again, you're 12 to 15 inches from their face, 2 small circles, stopping about 2 inches from the bridge of their nose. And that's it. That's LOC, or lack of convergence. All right, let's move on to modified Romberg. Again, modified Romberg starts the same way, feet together, arms to your side, and tell them not to begin or do anything else until you tell them to. Do you understand? We're going to tell them that when I tell you to, you're going to tilt your head back and close your eyes. You're going to stand there for what you believe is 30 seconds. When you think 30 seconds has gone by, open your eyes, tilt your head forward, and say stop. You're telling them when to start. They're telling you when to stop. So after you tell them to stand there for what they believe is 30 seconds, when they believe 30 seconds has passed, to look at you and say stop, you're going to tell them, all right, go ahead and tilt your head back, close your eyes. You have to get your timing device ready, and then you're going to tell them to begin, and you start your time. While they're doing the test, you can look at their sway, you can look at eyelid tremors, body tremors, maybe pill debris or some kind of other debris up their nose, lack of nasal hair, redness to the nasal area, whatever. This is when we're looking top to bottom at leg tremors, all of the things that go along with the drug categories. But we have to keep the time because we don't know when they're going to say stop. When they finally tilt their head forward and say stop, we stop the time. We note how long that was, and then we ask them 2 questions. First, we ask them, how long was that? You'll be surprised by the answers. They should say 30 seconds, but oftentimes they'll give us some oddball answer, but we ask them how long that was. Then we ask them, how did you get there? Sometimes they stood there for 10 seconds. They'll tell you they counted to 1,040 times. So we want to know how they counted, how they got to that number, because that sometimes can give us good evidence. But that's modified Romberg. Pretty simple test. The main thing is the language. I want you to stand there for what you believe is 30 seconds. When you think 30 seconds has passed, open your eyes, tilt your head forward, and say stop. And that's it. Then we put them in the position, tilt your head back, close your eyes, get our timing device ready, and say begin. They start it, and then when they say stop, we turn our timing device off, ask them how long was that, and how did you get there? And that's it. That's modified Romberg balance test. Lastly, we have finger to nose. For finger to nose, we're going to start off with our feet together, and our arms down to the side. We're going to have them pointing at the ground with their index fingers. So we're going to tell them to take their index fingers and extend it toward the ground or point at the ground, and to rotate their palms facing us. We want their arms by their sides with their index fingers pointed at the ground. This is the position we want to get them in. Easiest way to do it is tell them to extend their index finger towards the ground, rotate their palms facing us. The big language here is I'm going to give you a series of commands, either left or right. If you can get that phrasing down, it makes the rest of it super simple. I'm going to give you a series of commands, either left or right. If I say left, you're going to bring your left index finger up in front of you and touch the tip of your nose with the tip of your finger, and then immediately return it to your side without me having to tell you to. If I say right, you're going to bring your right index finger up in front of you, touch the tip of your nose with the tip of your finger, and then immediately return it to your side without me having to tell you to. Do you understand? Then we have to put them in the starting position, which is head tilted back and eyes closed. So we tell them, go ahead and tilt your head back, close your eyes, and then the sequence we give them is left, right, left, right, right, left. And that's it. That's all three of the alternative tests that we cover in ARIDE on day 1, session 5, and that we also cover again in DRE school. So hopefully you're using these on the road to perfect them, but if not, hopefully this video will help you get them down before you go to ARIDE or DRE school.